Pentagon has a brand new name for ISIS, and judging by the number of times Lieutenant General James Terry used that new name at a 30-minute news conference, well, the Pentagon is serious about this.
DAESH is why we are here. DAESH. DAESH uses terror. DAESH. DAESH. We will strike DAESH. 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 DAESH is a DAESH. DAESH.
Okay. So you get the point, right? Terry used the term Daesh 25 times in 30 minutes. In Arabic, the acronym sounds like a word that means crush underneath the foot. ISIS, which we will now call Daesh, hates the term. In fact, if ISIS leaders hear anyone using the term Daesh, they will cut out their tongues. General Terry said the Pentagon is making the shift because allied partners believe referring to the group as ISIS or ISIL legitimizes the self-declared caliphate. So let's discuss this with CNN military analyst Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. Welcome, General.
Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. So the French foreign minister takes it a step farther. He's decided to call ISIS Daesh cutthroats. Tell us why this is effective.
Well, Carol, I'm not an Arabic linguist, but Daesh stands for Al-Dawa, Al-Islamiyya, Al-Iraqi, Al-Sham, and it means the state of Islam in Iraq and the Levant. But it also sounds like a word in Arabic that means to crush underfoot. So it is a condemnation by most Arabs who are using this. And I talked to an Iraqi general, an old friend of mine, a few days ago via email, and he said that's what he's calling it because the Arabs like it that way. This is not an Islamic state. They do not represent the Islamic people. So it's throwing it in the face of al-Baghdadi. And I think General Terry using it yesterday was a brilliant move on his part. And it's really in their face saying, okay, you're going to cut off my tongue? Try it. Come after me.
Very interesting. I was just thinking about ISIS and what it really is. It seems to me it's more like a criminal enterprise. You know, they kidnap people to raise money. They deal in drugs. They're thieves. They steal. So why not just call it something like a cartel or a mafia or a gang?
Well, when you've lived and worked and fought in Iraq as long as many of us have, you'll come to understand that there are a lot of these kind of criminal gangs there. In fact, the naming of these gangs go back and forth. It's almost like the Crips and the Bloods, Carol. They are terrorist outfits, and they will lean one way or another depending on who they think has the upper hand. Daesh has had that for the last several months, but I think they've come to a culminating point. They've suffered some defeats. They've begun to go on the strategic defensive, and I think the combination of Kurdish and Iraqi forces growing again, the betterment of the Iraqi government, and the assistance given by the coalition forces is going to defeat them in Iraq just like al-Qaeda was defeated in Iraq.
Well, that is good to hear. Going back to your original point, Daesh, you know, ISIS is threatening to cut out the tongues of anyone who says that. It's dangerous for Americans in that part of the world. Does calling ISIS Daesh make it more dangerous for Americans, besides our military men and women, I mean?
No, I don't think so. I think it's actually ascribing to them what they deserve. It is an organization that should be put underfoot, and obviously, too, in the culture of the Arabs, putting something under your feet is an extreme, well, let's just say it's not a compliment. So when you put something under someone's foot, it's kind of the worst kind of insult. So I think this gives them the credit they deserve. They are not deserving of representing the good Islamic people, the good Arab people, which are 95% of the people in this part of the world. They have taken on the criminal activities, as you said before, of a gang, and that's not something that most Arabs want to be associated with.